On my computer. Okay, so I'm starting to record. Hello, everyone here and anyone watching the replay. We might have to add some people as they come. But my name is Chantal. For those of you who don't know me, I've been an ambassador with Stella and Dot for 8 years now, so a very long time. And newsletters have long been a part of my business with Stella and Dot. And so I had a couple of bullet points in terms of things that we would cover. I think I'm going to cover them out of order, but I am going to cover them all and a whole lot more. So what I kind of envisioned for this is I have a lot of people who often ask me if they can see my newsletters after I've sent them out, or will ask me how to do newsletters. And I've often had stylists kind of ask me for one-on-one tidbits about newsletters. And then finally I was like, I should just do this because it's easier and then I can direct people to it. In terms of why I use newsletters, that's probably the biggest and most important question, right? Why are you even here? What does it give me in my business? I see it as doing a couple of different things. One, it allows me to stay connected with people who aren't on social media. So there are a lot of people I'm not Facebook friends with. They don't necessarily follow me on Instagram. Maybe they're older, maybe I met them years ago before I even had an Instagram account, because again, I've been doing this for 8 years. So it allows me to keep connected with my entire customer base. The other interesting piece too, it doesn't happen all that often, I would say, but if I'm sending out a newsletter to email, people can forward that to their friends or their coworkers, right, as well. So that's a really easy way to kind of get the word out there too. And then another big thing is I think it just keeps me top of mind for people. It's another avenue. We often hear that it will take about 5 touch points of a message, or a person seeing a message 5 times before they really integrate that. Into what it is that they know. So, that's why it's so important to keep posting. Hey, Christy, thanks for joining. To keep posting, sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, on a weekend, weekday, the same message in your Facebook group, because people are going to see it at different times. Or, maybe the 5th time they see those earrings, they're like, okay, that's it, I need it, right? Whereas the first time they were like, that's cute. And the 3rd time they're like, how much does that cost, I wonder? And the 5th time they're like, I just need it, right? So it's another touch point, which I think is important. And the third reason why I think newsletters are really important to my business is the analytics that you can find in the back end of your newsletters. Those analytics, when I'm doing my business properly and paying it the attention that it deserves, are going to give me really easy who do you know lists, right? It's going to give me a list of people to reach out to, because I'm going to know who's been clicking on links, looking at new product, who might be checking out information about being a stylist, all of that kind of information. So I'm going to show you how to find those and how to read into those as well. In terms of my history of using newsletters, I first started out with Smore. So a lot of people still use Smore. I haven't used it in probably about 4 years. The reason I stopped using it, it was very intuitive. They were very pretty. The reason I stopped using it at the time, and this may have changed, was that every Smore you made became public domain. And if you're trying to tell people about your sample sales or your stylist exclusive deals, to broadcast that publicly is technically against our stylist contracts. So that's why I stopped using Smore, because if I wanted to offer free shipping for a limited time for my customers, it was actually being broadcast to anyone who has Smore could see my newsletter. So that was not in line with the stylist contract. So that's why I stopped that. That might have changed. For years, I used MailChimp, and I really liked MailChimp. I found it intuitive once I started to use it. And a lot of people still use MailChimp. The only reason I stopped using MailChimp is because it got very expensive to do the things I wanted to do. The last time I tried to send a message out with MailChimp, it wouldn't let me send it until I did a paid account, and I had to pay $50 American for the month to send out my newsletter, and that is insane. So what my account looked like that made it like that, I had different audiences, and A free account with MailChimp, I think now only allows you one audience. It only allows you one mail out per month. It only allows you a certain number of subscribers. Again, I've been a stylist for a long time. My subscriber list is over 1,000 people, 1,000 emails. So I needed more, something that was a little bit robust that wasn't going to charge me that much money a month. So I use FLODESK now. FLODESK is a fairly new company. It is woman-owned and run, which I love. And it also means that I find a lot of their templates a little bit more sort of like pretty and like influencer-like. So I'll tell you right now, I pay about $100 a year for my FLODESK full membership that gives me access to everything, which is less than $10 a month, which is like less than what I pay in Starbucks a week. So totally worth it for me. You can write off these things as a business expense on your taxes, right? So keep that in mind. I probably get, again, maybe like on average across the year, maybe like 1 to 3 orders per newsletter. But again, I don't see it as driving sales. I see it as another touch point, another way to keep me top of mind. I just consider it a business expense from that perspective. And I usually send out 1, maybe 2 a month. Usually I try to keep it to just 1. I'll send a second one out if there's something like November. I'll usually send out 2 because I want to get people at the beginning of the month, but I also want to tell them about holiday or the Black Friday sale, or if there's something big happening. And I know, people do newsletters in a lot of different ways. Christy usually sends out 1 a week, I think, and she shows what she's been wearing through the week. And it's more sort of like a style sort of angle. I do mine to talk about promos and what's going on with Stella and Dot generally. And the other thing I wanted to say is you can absolutely use FLODESK for free. You do not need a paid account to do this as a stylist. Again, some of those benefits of the paid account are going to be some of the more complex, workflows, or, when someone clicks on this in my email, they get put into this list and this happens. You don't need that as a stylist. You can totally use a free account and just have like your customer list, and you're good to go, especially if you're kind of a newer stylist or you do this as a hobbyist and you don't have like a huge, massive subscription list. A free account is totally going to work for you as well. Okay. So does anyone have questions about any of that before I actually share my screen and show you what's going on? Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. I don't think I've ever shared my screen before. Was I sharing my screen before? No. What am I doing? Oh, interesting. Okay, let's share this. Oh no, this is maybe not what I want to share. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So can someone just come off mute and tell me that you can see the Stella and Dot website? Can everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it, let me see here. Okay, so when you log into FLODESK, so now you can see my FLODESK. When you log into FLODESK, this is sort of the dashboard. And again, even though I'm showing you specifically FLODESK, a lot of the larger concepts are still going to make sense if you're using MailChimp, or still going to be true to MailChimp or Smore or anything else. First, I'm going to show you a couple things in my account. So my account's up here. I'm going to go into my account. And there were a couple things I wanted to show you here. One, you're going to want to set up your time zone. This will probably happen automatically, but when you schedule posts, it's going to be based on your time zone. This got strange and confusing to me when I was living in a different time zone for 4 months this summer. I was like, wait, when am I scheduling this for again? And then the other thing is over here, I have email set up. So from here, you can actually change what people see as your name. So not only does it have my name, but I've also chosen to include Ambassador Stella and Dot. So when it comes up in people's news, in people's inboxes, they're going to see that it's a Stella and Dot email, but they're also going to see it's from me as opposed to, Stella and Dot corporate. So that's a change that I would make. I could change this now. I know before I used to have associate director. When we used to have that, I could change this to community coach. For me, I feel like ambassador is still good because sometimes those other labels fluctuate. And also Community coach might not mean anything to other people outside of the Stellan Dot world. You could also just leave it your name, Stellan Dot, right? And then the last thing I wanted to show you in the account section, what was it, is brand preference. So with brand preference, you can add a couple of different things. Again, some of this would be probably more apt for someone who's doing something a little bit more complex, or if you're working with your own company or brand, but you're able to put in a logo at the top. This logo is just from the lounge. And then you can click on replace image, and then you just choose it from like your desktop or your photos. I haven't put in a company name here. The website I have here is my just general website and company address. Because I think it has to do with anti-spam laws. I don't remember for sure, but with marketing communications, there has to be an actual address included on your communications. I have chosen, because this is my personal address, to remove my actual number and suite number, but you do have to have some sort of address there. So that's what that is. Social media links. You can choose wherever you are on social media and link those accounts. And then that makes it really easy to link to them within your newsletters. And I'll show you that as well. I've chosen here to include my Facebook. This directs to my customer group. This one is for Instagram. So people can click on that and go to my Instagram account. And then also this one is for YouTube. So they can go see my YouTube videos from that link as well. You can also add Twitter. If you have Pinterest boards of Stellan.style, you could do that. This is Vimeo, I think. This would be LinkedIn. I don't know what the other ones are. And then this, I think, is a cool feature. So this is connect your Instagram. If you have Instagram and you connect it here, you can actually bring up in your newsletters a block that kind of pulls your last couple of tiles from your Instagram grid, which I feel gives it that personal flavor as well. So those are the things from the account section. Any questions about the account section? Okay, I'm gonna go back, if I can remember how. I'm gonna click back here. And then at the top here, so we're not gonna talk about forms and workflows. I have never used forms or workflows. I just don't feel like I need it in my business for what I do. So I'm just gonna stick to the basics. I have some ideas of how I might use them in the future when I have like a million more hours in a day. For now, I just stick to sending out just one regular newsletter. Audience is going to be where your contacts live. So they're up here at the top. I am not going to click on subscribers. That actually will just bring a list up of everyone in total in my subscribers list. The only reason I'm not doing that is because this is recorded and just for my customers' privacy and confidentiality. I don't think it's, I haven't asked anyone if I can share their info. So I prefer for this to just kind of remain not seen, but all it really is a list of subscribers. Hold on, I had written something here. Okay, so what you would normally see when you click on subscribers is you would see their name, their email address, and then you would also see sort of a status for them. And it could be one of four things. Active, which means that they've done something with one of your emails. Unsubscribed, which means obviously they've unsubscribed from your emails and they're no longer in your list. Bounced means that there has been multiple attempts to send your newsletter to that email address, and for some reason it's not going through. Maybe the email address doesn't exist anymore. Maybe the inbox is full. Those kinds of things. It's not that they don't want it, it's that it's just not getting to them somehow. So you could filter on bounced, and that could be people you want to text next time or connect with by phone to say, I noticed that your information has changed. Maybe they gave you a work email and now they don't work there anymore, and so that email has become defunct, right? And the last one there, I think that would show up would be marked as spam. So basically, not only have they unsubscribed, they've marked your email as spam. So that's an interesting piece to note too. And then the last category on the audience will be what segment they're in. So I'm going to click onto segments. And so here you can see I have a couple of different segments. January 19 upload was the list that I brought in from the lounge. I had downloaded my lounge contacts into I think it automatically downloads in a CSV file. I cannot remember what that stands for. You can usually open them up in a spreadsheet program like Excel with no issue. And that's the format that typically all of these mail software will use. And then there's also, so this is Newsletter Workshop is just like a little mini list that I made so you can go in and see it. And then of course my subscribers. You can add segments and have them be different things. So for example, also I can't see if anyone is chatting with me. So if you have a question, please just take yourself off mute and ask me. I don't know that I explicitly said that, but when I'm sharing my screen, all of that other stuff disappears. So if you're like writing a question, I can't see you. So you might want to add a segment and maybe make a segment for, you know, people who have been stylists on your team, or you can make a segment that is your current team. So, you know, you can reach out to them with a newsletter of, you know, what's going on in terms of Stella and Dot incentives, or, you know, send them out something specific for Glam Getaway or something. You could also make a segment that's all past hostesses. And then you can have everyone who's ever been a hostess in a list that may get different communications than just your regular contacts, right? So you can do all kinds of things with segments. I'm going to add a segment here. So say I say hostesses. So I clicked on this add a segment, and then I'm going to write hostesses and then save. And then when I go in there, what I can do, I don't know if you see this little box so there's a little box here, add new. And so you can upload your list from there. So again, that can be the list you exported or downloaded right from the lounge to be your full contact list. Or say you've already, you know, created a list of hostesses, but now you have one new person, you can always add an individual by adding their email address and name. You save it, it ends up in that list, okay? And then again, there's the filter, and it will show you, those are those 4 statuses we talked about. And you can filter and so on within a segment. And then you can rename the segments. You can delete a segment, which I'm going to do now for hostess. And then download CSV is, say you wanted to go from this program to another program, like you decided MailChimp was more for you, you could then download your CSV and take it to another thing. That's what I did the other way when I went from MailChimp to FLODESK. I downloaded the CSV file from MailChimp and then I just uploaded it here. It was super, super easy. I didn't have to type in anything manually. It just knows. The future is now. Okay. So when I open this one, this is sort of all of my different email addresses that you can see here for the purposes of you being able to see it. So you can see here the emails. You can see the last activity from the newsletters. So it actually shows when the last time this contact opened something from my FLODESK mailings. And you can also see here the different segments that each of these contacts are on. Does anyone have any questions about audience? I'm going to take that as a no. Okay, so that's all my info about audience. Let's go back. So that's that audience section. Now I'm going to go to emails. So when I go to emails, again, this is that first dashboard that you see when you log in to FLODESK. You can see I have 17 emails that I've created in total. 16 of them have been sent. One of them is sitting as a draft, which is the newsletter workshop one. And you can also archive things so they don't show up on your dashboard all the time. I could probably archive a whole bunch of these. total aside that isn't in my notes, but something I've just thought of is sometimes when I'm like, oh, do you think there's going to be, say, like a Thanksgiving sale? I would go back to past newsletters and be like, well, what was happening last October? Like, and you can kind of anticipate what Stella and Dot might be doing from what you told people about, the year before. So you can see here a whole slew of different emails. Like I said, I send one out per month usually, and then sometimes there's a second one. I have created templates, and then what I do is at the top here on the dot, dot, dot of each one, I just duplicate from the last one, and then I modify it. But I'll show you how to create one from scratch. Before I do that, I'm going to show you what my 2 templates are. Because I do one every month, that is usually like what's going on in the month. I'm going to open this up in my browser here. Hopefully you can still see it. Can everyone see my new window I just opened up? And it says happy fall, y'all. Can someone unmute me? Okay.
Yeah.
Is this going okay? Am I going too fast or?
No, it's perfect. And
Great.
even as I'm thinking of questions, you are answering them. I'm still getting all the emails there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I thought about opening my own contact list, but just for like my customers' privacy, I didn't, but I can always help you with that too.
Okay, no, but it sounds like the way you're sounding, it makes it sound easy. So hopefully, and I also didn't know it was free. So because I thought, oh, if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not going to pay for it and try to figure it all out. This way
right. You can absolutely do it for free first. And then if you find that you want more features or whatnot, you can always pay later.
Okay.
For updated. But the very first 1 or 2 that I sent with FLODESK, I sent on a free account.
Okay.
Okay. It won't let you do things like have as many segments, for example. Like in a free account, you'll have only a certain number of segments. I don't know what it is. I don't remember what it is. Whereas in MailChimp, when I stopped using MailChimp, I had maybe 4 or 5 different, what FLODESK is calling segments, because I had a list of men that I would reach out to during holidays, and they were their own. They don't want jewel information all the time, but I would send them specifically for Valentine's and for holiday, for example. And then I had like my team as a segment, and then I had hostesses as a segment, and then I had, potential stylists as a segment, so that when a sign-up special, for example, came up. But with a free account, you might just have just all of your customers in one list, right? But if you're just sending your customer newsletter, then that's all you need, right? So why pay for it? I obviously haven't expanded on all the things that I'm doing, but I still have the paid account now because I'm also doing lots of newsletters. Sorry. Now we're looking at this. This is the one type of template I have. So this is for that just general information about what's happening with Stella and Dot this month. I send out one of these every single month. I will tell you also, I tend to send it out the morning of any new line drop, because one of my points is always, there's new stuff, go check it out. And I've used a template that FLODESK has made with like 5 points, and then I always have 5 points in my newsletter. So I'll just show you here. I have there's always a little blurb that's like me being me, talking about life. I have this block, which is a link to my customer group. In this one in particular, I added just some new line stuff. So you can see here, the fall style drop is here. And I'll open this as a template so you can see exactly how you're going to create yours. But really, I have done nothing in terms of formatting. I've just changed the picture and changed the words. Super easy. So point 1, fall style drop is here. This is going to be whatever is new all the time. 2, hey, look, we had a bag sale. So now I'm talking about bag sale. And then I added this section, which is my 4 favorite bags that I used all summer long. And so you see, so this is personal, right? This is actually my passport. This is actually me in front of a waterfall using our bag. This is my adorable little rosebud sitting next to a bag being like, why is this happening? My third one here is the monthly exclusive offers. I'm doing a little product feature here with the new Hydrolift Rich that had launched. And the fifth thing is about signing up as a stylist. If you were to go, and then here I have a video of the Stellan manifesto, and then some general information about booking, and then this looks like a signature. Here are those social medias buttons that I talked about in the account section. So you see them pop up here. So if you clicked on this, it would take you, you can see down here actually where it takes you. So that takes you to my Stellan Facebook group, my Instagram, and my YouTube. As we talked about before, I always leave like a fun quote at the bottom. And then here, because I attached my Instagram, you see what was going on in my Instagram grid at the time that the newsletter was published. What's important to note about this is that I do not make this up every single month. Like, I change the words here. This stays exactly the same every month. I know this is going to be whatever's new, so I just change the words, but I will have like, oh, funny that this says my top 5 and then I only listed 3. So sometimes I make mistakes. I try to read it over again before I do it. This is going to change to whatever sale is on potentially. This, I never change this because we always have monthly exclusive offers. So the only thing I change is what my favorite thing is, but all of the rest of it stays the same. And then again, you know, this is always some sort of take on joining the team. The manifesto stayed here forever. This usually stays pretty much the same in terms of would you like to have a trunk show? So I'm not reinventing everything all the time. And if I know I just need 5 little blurbs, it makes it really easy to sit down and create that content. I'm going to go back. Oh, no, I'm going to go back here. And then the other kind I would do is for like a flash sale. So if I view this in browser, this is when we had those Dress for Success bundles. So I had already sent out my one newsletter, you know, for whatever month that was. And then these happened. And I'm also going to be honest, I often send the second newsletter in a month where I have a goal, where I want to like promote to a certain thing, or it's double the points for glam or whatever. Those are often typically also when I would send out a second newsletter because I'm trying to hit my goals. So here you see it's not the same template. We've got the Dress for Success information. This talks about what Dress for Success is. And then I've got here, you can see just the 1, 2, 3 different sets we had. I just popped in the images. I didn't create any of these blocks. These just exist already, and I just changed the wording in them. And then again, we've got the Dress for Success video that people can watch, and that was it. So this was really like succinct about the specific sale, whereas the other one is about kind of more Stellan stuff. Okay, let me see here. What have I got? Okay, so those would be the 2 templates I use. Of course, you can do whatever you like. You can have all kinds of things. I'm going to show you how to create a new one. You're going to click Create New up at that top. And then FLODESK asks you, what's your goal? And then it has a bunch of different templates for different reasons. To welcome someone to your community. So they've just subscribed, for example, or you could send this to new subscribers. I like this make money one, hilarious. But you can see what they've got here is they show you kind of what it might look like and you know what you can do with it. Again, a lot of this looks very Instagrammable, very influencer. You can share different news. So you're going to pick what kind of speaks to you in terms of style, and you can click into them and see what they look like and play around with them. Or you can start from scratch. Starting from scratch, I feel like is a little daunting to me personally, but maybe you like that better. Oh, that is not how you spell newsletter. That is also not how you spell newsletter. Okay, so if I hit save, it's going to be like nothing, like absolutely nothing is there, and you can do whatever you want. So that feels a little bit daunting to me. If I go back to choose template, the one that I used for my newsletter, my like monthly newsletter, is the favorite things roundup. When I click on this, obviously mine looks different, but you'll notice a lot of the features look the same, right? This blurb at the top, picture of a woman. This is where you'd see the Stella and Dot logo from the account section shows up here. Then you see the 1, the 2, 3. So this is just my newsletter, but it's what they've already created. So I didn't have to go in and make everything look pretty and space it out nicely. I was just like this. I like this. So then I hit customize. And then here you can take any part. So now you can see my logo is up at the top because I set that as my company logo. But then in here, I can be like top 5 reasons to be a stylist. I guess we're not stylists anymore, ambassador, right? But I can go in into anything that's text here and I can change whatever I want it to say. I was like, the backpack, is this my newsletter? It's not. The Pegasus, right? So it's super easy to just go in and change whatever you want. These here that are for links, you can click on those and change it to whatever, change it to whatever you want. So grab here, grab yours, click here, right? So you're just changing the text by just literally clicking on it and then doing whatever you want with that. In the side here, you'll see button, font, link, block. So like, for example, this thing that's a picture, when I click on it, I can choose from different shapes for the picture to be, if you see on the side here. And then when I click on this, I can say upload image. It'll take me to my desktop and I'll say, okay, I want to show these Pegasus earrings. And I just select them and boom, they're in the newsletter. Okay. With this, I can change the color of the link to whatever I want. If you have colors that are like your brand or whatever, you can change them. You can change the font in any block as well to whatever you like. You'll see this start to change, the little blue block. I can change it to bold. I can change the font size so that it gets real big. All of that. This one is really important. This looks really ugly now that it's big. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to close it back down and make it smaller. Okay. Link is really, really important. You can make the whole block, like this whole block, by clicking on the block, you can make a link. Here, you can also see you can add different kinds of blocks and stuff too, and images, and have fun with that. When I click, so I've selected the block, and when I select the block and I click link, I can add any web address here. So if they click on anywhere in this block, it now is going to send them to whatever web address I put in this little block here. I'm going to just switch windows for a second. So this is my website. I don't know if you can see the URL bar or where you would normally type in a website. It's just up the top here. I always put in my current, like a current, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a referral link. So not just my website, but my actual referral link, right? Like my double dip show goes in there. And then if I'm looking, say, for the Pegasus earrings, because that little section is about the Pegasus, can you see that I'm searching Stella and Dot here?
Yep.
Okay. So I type in Pegasus and then return. And then down here, it'll show me all the Pegasus. I don't know if you can see the URL bar, but you're going to see what I'm doing with it in a second. So when I search Pegasus, these are all the Pegasus items. And then when I go back to FLODESK, that's not the right window, hold on. This one? No, this one? Oh, jeepers. Oh, here we go, here we go. When I put in this link, now you're gonna see when they click this, this is the link it's actually gonna go to. Search $Q, because it's a query, that's a computer term. So it's searching for Pegasus, and it's taking from the trunk show, and this is that specific trunk show link. So when people click on this block, they're going to go specifically, what it opens up is going to be a window that shows them whatever the search results are for Pegasus, and then from my trunk show link. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And I just want to be clear one more time. The reason it goes to my trunk show link is because I started by putting the trunk show link in the other window first, as opposed to just starting with my Chantal Wall website. You can also just send them to, stellandot.com/Chantal Wall to just view anything and go from there. But like, if you have a double dip trunk show open, it makes more sense to go there. Or if you're doing a fundraiser trunk show, you want to send all your breast cancer awareness boutique orders to that special trunk show, for example, right? So that's why I go to the trunk show first, and then I do my search. So that's how I get it to go to something specific. In that I always do like, what is new? I can't access those links before they launch to customers, right? But if I go to the Stella & Dot website and I click new, well, I know whatever is the newest thing is going to show up when I search new. So now that web address at the top is always going to give them whatever's new first. If I'm talking about things on sale, well, then I'm going to click sale. And then I'm going to attach the link that goes to sale. Because even though it might not be live yet when I'm creating the email, I know that sale is going to show up in sale, right? Does that make sense? So that you don't have to wait until something's actually live on the site to link someone to it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so we talked about these. We talked about links. We talked about the image, and you can change the image. You can change the wording here. You can change the font. We talked about all that. Okay, the other thing that I would add is sometimes it doesn't look exactly like the template. Like you saw, I put in that extra image of the 4 pictures of me and my favorite bags, right? Above and below each block, there's going to be a plus sign. So you can see it above and below. If I click at the top one, it's going to ask me, what do I want to add before that block? So you can add a new layout. And when I click that, you can see there's a whole bunch of different layout choices that come up in the corner. So you can choose something like this. Like maybe you want to feature you on holiday with your kids, and then you can write a little story here about being away with your kids, and it would show up looking like that here. And then again, you can change the text, change the image. You can put in just an image on its own. You can put in your logo there. You can put in any video. Like literally, I use a lot of the Stella & Dot YouTube videos here, or sometimes those like ones where Blythe talks about the entire collection. Like if it's the new holiday collection, I might add Blythe talking about the new holiday collection here. Sorry. Instagram, you can add more text. You can add another click here button. So there's lots of different, like spacers. Spacers are literally just blank space to like break things up a little bit, right? To help the eye differentiate between one thing and the other. You can also put in a divider that's going to create an actual line. Can you see that there? And then you can also change how the line looks in terms of the color of the line, if the line leans left or right, how thick it is, all kinds of things. Similarly, if you press the button underneath a block, it's going to put whatever you want underneath that block. Okay, does that make sense in terms of formatting, or is there anything specific you want me to touch on so that you see what it looks like?
It makes total sense.
Okay.
Everything. It looks good.
Yeah, so you can see there when I put social links, it will only link the social links that I chose in my account that we talked about at the very beginning. Okay, creating new. Okay, so I think that's it. Like you would just have to play with that and see, what you wanted to do, how you wanted to how you wanted to fill it out. But I'm going to tell you right now, I take about, I would say maybe an hour each time I do a newsletter to create all the new content in terms of the writing, find and upload new pictures, upload new video. It probably takes me about an hour each time I do a newsletter. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to take you like 3 the first time, maybe even more. Like it took me a while the first time I ever did it to like figure it out, but that's why I just duplicate it. There's 2 reasons to duplicate it and just kind of rework what you've already done. One is because you've already done it. So like, don't do that work again. And 2, from like a not sounding lazy perspective, it's cohesive, right? Then your emails look the same and it looks more like branded that way.
I was going to say that as a previous customer of yours, I like that was kind of your style of it.
Right.
And I actually felt like seeing the same sort of format was more familiar to me.
Yeah. And you kind of knew what you were going to find, right?
Right.
And how to look out for things. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go to next here. So at the top, we went from choose a template to design email to choose audience. So here, who's this email coming from? Here's that email information we put into the account, but you could change it here if you wanted to something else. I click continue. Then I put in my subject line. So here's another tip. Never put the word sale, promo, free. Don't put any of that in your subject lines or preview text. That's how a lot of promotional emails end up in spam folders. Try to make it fun. Try to make it a question. I don't have any clever examples off the top of my head, but this is actually probably the hardest part of the newsletter for me is like, how am I going to get people to open this? Often talking about like your top 5 things to know about Stella and Dawn in October, whatever, you could do something like that. Continue. Here's where you're going to add your segment. I'm going to choose newsletter workshop. I want to include these people, add my segment, and now they're attached to my list. That is who it's going to. That segment we created at the beginning, or you could choose, as you can see, I could choose all subscribers and you could choose everyone in your list there as well. I'm going to hit continue. I can choose to send it out now, right away. I can choose to send it out in an hour or a day, or I can choose custom. And then you can just decide when you want to send it. I want to send it next week. And then you can choose best time for morning or best time for evening. That's based on FLODESK's general information of when people are most likely to open newsletters. That's great. Some people on my newsletter list include people that are my boss in my full-time job. Regardless if I schedule it, I don't want it showing up at 11 so that Karen, her name is actually Karen. Karen is like, why is Chantel sending out a newsletter when she's on like the university's dime, right? So I always choose a time. And personally for me, I always schedule it to go out before the workday, during the lunch hour, or after work hours, only specifically because I have a full-time job. But if it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. You can always pick best time for morning, best time for evening. I just don't want people asking questions about what I'm doing with my time, because I'm always scheduling it anyways, right? I also pick morning because I feel like people are most likely to find it if I put it first thing in the morning than if it sat overnight with other things coming in the morning. I also like to send it out on Fridays. I have a lot of people who have given me their work email. So if they see it on a Friday, I feel like they're more likely to read it on a Friday morning than if it came to their work email on a Monday morning. And also they might then look at it on a weekend as well. Also, Fridays tend to be paydays. Just throwing that out there. Paydays tend to sit at the end of the week frequently for people. So that's another reason. Okay, I'm talking way more than I thought I was going to. This should not surprise anyone. Last bit, we're going to talk about analytics. So, and this is the bit where you get your who do you know list and how you get the most bang for your buck out of creating a newsletter with software like this. So, okay, newsletter workshop. Oh, look at all these things I created. Okay, so down here at the bottom, you've got this like you've got this graph bar graph. And so you can see here, I have 3 recipients who got this. 1 person opened it. So 33% opened it, 33% clicked on it. That's just like really preliminary information. When I click on that more details, you're going to see more information. Again, this is just kind of like that fake list that I had with my own, but you can see here, 3 emails were sent out, 3 of 3 were delivered. So it actually went to that account that I sent it to. 1 of those people actually opened it. 1 of those people actually clicked a link in the email. You can see here how many people are opening it. One thing I liked about MailChimp is I seem to recall MailChimp would tell me what the like industry standard was for like accessories and fashion. This doesn't do that. Click rate, who's clicking, most people, 100% of my 3 people opened it up on a desktop rather than on a phone. So that can also have implications for how you design it. I wouldn't think too hard about that because your templates will automatically configure for the best viewing. 100% were delivered. There's 1 unique open, 1 unique click, which means that 1 specific person opened it, and then unique clicks is like if 1 person opened it but clicked on the link like 4 times. So Joe opened my newsletter, but she clicked, like she went back and opened it again and again and again. This would be 4 unique clicks. So ladies, this is where the information becomes really important. If you're seeing someone, so when I actually here, you know what? Can I click on this? How do I do this? Clicks. So over here, I'm going to, so opens, for example, you can see here, Tequila Rose. I made this email when I was 19, clearly. This email address opened the newsletter 3 times. If you have someone on your email list opening your email over and over again, guess what? You're going to ask that person to host. That's probably a good person to ask if they want to be a stylist, for example. They're clearly interested in what you're offering. When I click on clicks, it actually shows me all those different areas where we had those, remember when I showed you like you could make the block Pegasus and then it would link to the Pegasus, or you could create, you know, the video, right? And it would be a video link. This shows you the different links in my newsletter, and it shows you how many clicks happened. So someone, look at this, 1 unique click, 4 total clicks. This Stelline.Foundation link was clicked 4 times. So when I click on this, I see that Tequila Rose _ clicked on that 4 times. They're really interested in the foundation, like say that's Breast Cancer Awareness Foundation boutique. That's a good lead on, I should contact that person to see if they want to be an ambassador and share the boutique with their friends, right? That's why the analytics are so important and why using a program like this is better than just creating something in Gmail, right? Or just a newsletter to be like, hey y'all, new stuff is out, come check it out. So yeah, and then again, Bounce will show you who didn't get it so you can follow up with them. I had a couple notes about unsubscribed. Who unsubscribes from your newsletter is none of your business. I know that sounds funny. I used to I would feel some type of way when I would open it up and I would see unsubscribed every month. I still get usually 4 to 6 unsubscribes every single time I send out a newsletter. It is not about you, okay? Let's be real clear. There's 2 things I think about people who unsubscribe. 1, they are doing you a favor. If they're unsubscribing, it means they're not interested a lot of the time. So don't even worry about it. Water off a duck's back. They don't want to know your stuff. That's fine. If they don't want to know about Stelline Dot, they probably weren't going to shop anyways. Am I right? Pretty sure I'm right. the second thing is sometimes I would see people there and I'd be like, oh my God, her? But we've been best friends since kindergarten. Like, why would she unsubscribe from my newsletter? And then I realized sometimes those people still shop. They just don't want a lot of stuff in their email. They're already, connected with me on Facebook. I post about Stella and Dot everywhere. When they want Stella and Dot, they know who to go to. They don't need to be showing up on their news list. So in their inbox. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why people unsubscribe. Do not get attached to that number. If it totally freaks you out and makes you heartbroken, don't even go look at it. You don't even need to know, right? That's the biggest thing that I can say. Focus on the positive. Focus on the people who are opening your newsletter, love the product, and really want to see what's going on there. I'll show you because this is like little bits of information, just because I like that too. Did you meditate today? Did you see that? That's cute. So if you look at something like my July list, like here you can see actual numbers, right? Sent it to 1,000 people. 227 people opened my newsletter in July. 32 people, there were 32 different clicks within my newsletter, not just reading the newsletter, but then going straight to the website where I was directing them. And then when I open this up again, I'm not going to click on the actual specifics, but like you can see how many were delivered, subscribers clicked your email, how many opened your email. You'll see here, oh, see, I've got some that weren't even delivered. So that's probably people I need to follow up with about updating their information. Look at this, 6 unsubscribed. I told you, that's fine. Lesson release. Luckily, no one marked it as spam, so that's good. But yeah, it shows me here that 16 people bounced. So if I clicked on that, those are going to be people that I want to be like, hey, looks like you updated your information. So I think that's it in terms of all of that. I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to come back to me here. So any other questions about analytics and how that works? Or are you wondering if you can see something specific? No, you're all on mute, but you're also shaking your heads no.
No, it was really like, I think if I would have just started myself, and I would have been completely overwhelmed. I mean, I think it's still going to be overwhelming, and I probably need like 6 hours, but it has helped a lot. And I mean, we can even look back at it, but
exactly,
yeah. It was good.
So that was another thought of mine in terms of recording it. Like I said, I'll add it to my YouTube, and that way you'll have the link there, and you could even open it up in another browser or on another device and watch it and kind of go step by step, right? As well, and kind of be like, okay, what did she say next, and what does that one even do? I don't know. So you can always use it that way too. So yeah, that's it. Like I said, it's just another great way to connect with people. And most importantly, when I'm like, well, who the hell am I going to reach out to? I'm like, oh, well, why don't I look at what was happening in my last newsletter? That's going to give me an idea of who I might want to reach out to, right? So there's always those times when you're like, what do I do next in my business? I don't even know where to go from here. And that's where I find newsletters can be helpful. Okay.
Thank you so much.
That was way longer than I said it was going to be, but I hope it was useful. And if there are any questions, always feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for showing up. Okay. Have a good one. Good luck with your newsletters. Bye-bye.
Thanks.